And we are live. Let me just confirm. Just want to make sure that everything is in order over here. Just bear with me here. Here we are. Okay, perfect. I like to see my comments on my cell phone because using eCam, if you haven't registered, obviously when you post a comment, I won't see your name. But if I pay attention to my cell phone, then I can see what you're saying in real time. Now, today we're doing day 79. But I just wanted to recap a little bit on Dr. James' session on 78 because 78, on day 78, there was a dare that is the kind of dare that it's very important in reference to making sure that you have a flow into your process, into your activities as you are posting. It's important to have a flow that will grow your account, that will give value, but in the same time will also make the sell or get a response. On that note, I just wanted to revert back to my notes here. If I look at day 78 over here, okay, making sure you see that. Yes. So on day 78, what Dr. James talked about here is the strategy to adapt to, which is in three process, right? Part one is to grow your account. Part two is to give value, and part three is to get paid and the message. And again, I'm not going to do a training on that because Dr. James did that. You can always go back to the training, but I wanted to reemphasize on the dare. And the dare is during the week is to do three reels that will focus on growing your account, right? And the two times a week, in other words, during that same week, you will do two reels that would be bringing value. It could be details, information, whatever that is. And the third one, the third reel, is you do one reel a week. And in the session, we were talking about there's some days where you tend to have more response, more engagement, right? So from there, for example, Tuesday, if it happens to be the day where you get more engagement, you would do that reel in reference to make the sell on there. On Monday and on Sunday, then give. The give is provide information, educate, informed. And for example, in this case, on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it will be the kind of reels that will grow your account. That's what we mean. And that's what Dr. Jane talked about yesterday on day 78. Now, today is day 79. And on day 79, what we want to make sure that we focus through is to keep into momentum. Okay. So what's important here is that you're constantly monitoring and continuing on the flow that you are that you're engaging. And this is and in fact, Tammy and I were talking about this morning. Is we want to do a training on discovering your flow and helping you getting into your flow, right? Growing your account, creating value, and getting to sell. And I think one of the reasons why a lot of people do a lot of posts on social media, and TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or lives or whatever that may be, and then people don't get any conversion. It's because they never ask for the sell, right? All the videos are always based on information, education, but there's never call to action. So it's really important that we walk through that. But as we talk on this topic today on keeping the flow and to keep into momentum, I think it's important to understand the concept of the network marketing levels of momentum, right? So this is kind of the point. I think it's important to get a good understanding of what gets you in momentum, what keeps you in momentum, right? We have the industry momentum, right? When as a whole, the whole industry of network marketing is in momentum. Number two is the company, right? The company is into momentum. And number three is teams are into momentum, like, organization and teams. And number four is you have the lines. Like within your organization, you may have one line that's in momentum, but the rest are not so much into momentum. And of course, the last point, looking at the 5 levels of momentum, is you personally are in momentum, right? And a lot of time what's happening is in our industry, people fall asleep. They get bored and they're looking for that new shiny toy. And this is one of the biggest challenge that Tammy and I have recognized in our business, in our industry, is people are always looking for that new shiny toy. And at the end of the day, you're going to go around and jump ship into that new shiny toy, only to realize that there's not much difference once the excitement and you settle with that new shiny toy becomes boring again. And this is one of the issues that I think most people go through into network marketing, right? The industry as a whole in network marketing has lost a little bit of flair, has lost a little bit of momentum because the past 3 years, everybody kind of fell asleep through the pandemic. Now things are starting again, but now we're waking up the dead, if you know what I mean, right? And many companies has lost momentum, and it's a chain reaction. That's because teams stopped taking activities, they stopped doing things, taking action. And at the same time, different organization, or maybe there's just a few lines that are in momentum, but as a whole, the team is not in momentum. And also, what happens often, the leaders are sitting back waiting to collect because if you go, well, I've done my part, I've done my job, I don't have to do this anymore, and they stop doing what they did that got you where they when they reach that level of success, right? And before I continue, I wanted to again introduce myself in case you don't know who I am. If you're watching that video, my name is Chris. I'm a Crown Diamond with Max International. I've been in this business for well over 28 years full time. I've been with Max International for over 16 years right now, and I have seen the life, the cycle that goes on into these 5 levels of momentum. And very often what happens, you need to understand that when you are in momentum, right, the group will become in momentum, and it starts with you. You have to make a decision regardless of the situation, regardless of what you're facing, regardless of the challenges that's going on out there. It's about you. And if you get a momentum, your group will get a momentum. When a group gets into momentum, well, the team tends to get into momentum. What I mean, the group is your line, for example, individual lines, right? And when teams get in momentum, the company gets in momentum. And when the company is in momentum, then the whole industry, very often when you have many companies that are momentum, then the whole industry gets impacted by having the network marketing flair. And it's very important, and it's important to stay in the rhythm, right? And in order to grow, right, and to find that flow that we just talked about, that Dr. James talked about yesterday, right? It's important that you're constantly working on the strategy, right? And the strategy again is and this is the thing that you need to figure out is you want to grow your account, so you have to do things in line to growing your account. On the other hand, you also need to create value, right? Now, go back to grow your account. It could be something that's not necessarily related to what you're selling or what you're doing, but it could be, I've seen lately, there's a lot of comedies that are out there, and people are sharing comedies, and then they're putting themselves beside it. And then, that was one of the sessions that was shared. And at the end of the day, that's something that could also attract a lot of attention. But then you have to also bring value. And then you continue with making the sell, the call to action. So this is the flow that's important. And there's 4 main pillars to consider as you're doing this. See, number one is you have what we call the lead generation. What system are you going through on a daily basis, right, to build on your list? I can tell you that what Tammy and I are doing right now, we're working on funnels. This is why, in fact, we've been a little bit quiet if lately. Well, we're still doing our activities and everything else, but that's because we are implementing our funnels. They are recruiting funnels. There's a funnel that are selling program to train people on all sort of different activities on how to build online. We have another funnel that we're working on, which is a recruiting funnel, which is selling what we've done, what we've accomplished, what we can do, the system we have in place, and all of that follow up with series of emails all the way up to fill in a form that are really ready to sign up with us in Max International. And so what is your system? What is your lead generation system? And to initiate all of that, I'm starting Facebook campaigns, Facebook ads. And I found a really good way to keep my ads very, very cost efficient. So they're not expensive. You know, your ads start at one point where it might be 50 cents when someone click on the button to see your ad. And now it's down to 13 cents and it still is going lower. Really interesting is the more people are interested in clicking your ad because they like the picture, they like what you wrote, what's going on is the cheaper the cost of clicking is. The more Facebook has to work to get people to see your ad, then the more expensive your ad becomes when you click. Just so you understand, that's kind of the logic in Facebook ads. But these are some of the things that I'm doing, and I intend to really master that over and above our social media platforms. We have Instagram, we have TikTok, right? We have LinkedIn. Pinterest, I haven't done much with it, but we do have that also. We have Twitter. These are all things. There's an account for Chris and Tammy, right? So there's one that we create for Chris and Tammy, and there's another one that's me personally, right? So of course, that means there's a lot of platform that you need to take care of. But these are all the things that you choose to decide. We're doing this full time, so we spend a lot of time and commitment in doing these things. Every Sundays, we started doing a Q&A with Chris and Tammy on Facebook Live. And a segment of that is actually being utilized for our podcasts. You see what we're doing? So we're going to do one video, but it's going to be used in different aspect of what we do. So what do you do to generate leads? Right? So again, the flow is very example that we talked about in creating those leads. I'm just giving you an example of what I do. Right? Number two is content creation. Now, lately, what I've been doing a lot is Chat GPT. It's on CNN. Everybody talks about it. Right now, it's a talk of the world now. Google is actually creating their own to compete to make sure that they don't lose business, because Chat GPT is coming in. It was initiated by Elon Musk, and, now it's in Microsoft's hands. Anyway, at the end of the day, I'm using this particular tool, and it's really interesting. Tammy and I wrote a book called Freedom Formula. If you're curious, you go to Freedom Formula 1, O-N-E, freedomformula1.com, and you can turn around and buy the book. I think it's like $6 or $7 electronically, which is what I recommend for you to buy and put it into your smart device and read it. It's a great book that shares our story of how we grew to where we've had. And things are evolving right now, right? Social media was not that utilized in 2018, but now it is. So in the book, there's not that much content on that, but there's reference to it definitely because we were starting. Right. So the fact is, go back to content creator with ChatGPT. Often, why did I bring the book is there's a story that Tammy and I did on the book. And I took that story and what I did on ChatGPT, I interact with ChatGPT. Try to say that 3 times in a row. Okay. I interact with ChatGPT like it's a friend. So I would say something like, hey, ChatGPT, can you convert my story into an inspirational story following what I'm sharing here, okay? Something like that. And then under bracket, I will cut and paste the story. And then I click enter. And then you can see the chat GPT, it's actually thinking and processing. And it turn on and spit out an inspirational version. And I also mentioned I want it in 3 paragraphs. This is how smart that thing is. And it spit it out. And I literally cut and paste it into one of my a funnel that's going to be pushed through an ad campaign. You see what's going on? So, but content is there's so many things that are out there right now. And one thing that you can do is start watching, and be careful with this one when you start watching other people's lives, but start looking at the content. What are they talking about? Another thing I may suggest is as you start looking at their content, start seeing which one would be the kind of content that grows their account, which would be the kind of content that actually provides information, that gives information, which one is actually the kind of reel that actually provides a way for people to buy or to respond, and start recognizing those. And from there, what you'll find is you'll be able to keep tab on some of those stories that you can duplicate in your own words, in your own environment. So content creation, folks, honestly, with everything that has been shared in, since January 4th, as we started this 90-day run, just go and start clicking and start watching some of those videos. You can go to the Crown Diamond Global Impact. We have all the videos posted over there. Or you can come back here to this channel on the Crown Diamond Global Impact Facebook group, and they're all featured. And you simply have to pick the one that you find relevant. Start from the beginning. You know, the first 2 weeks could probably summarize everything you need to know. After that, it's been tips and tricks and things to enhance and grow. But the first 2 weeks contain a lot of information that actually would basically give you everything you need to know to grow and to build and create content. Okay. So that's again number two. So very important. Okay. Now number three is, the conversion, right? Um, it's important that um, you're in a position where, as you start uh, finding your flow and you're growing your account, and that you are providing information and value, and you want to stay in momentum, you want to stay the flow in doing this, and it's important eventually is to convert, right? And one thing that that could be actually quite relevant here is, what is your main strategy, right? For you to qualify people, right? For you to maybe for you to ask questions, or for you to to simply get some feedback on a video that you might have done. It could be some presentations. I know lately I started doing. I took 50 seconds segments, or a minute 5 seconds, minute 10 seconds from a presentation, which I'm doing a presentation at 3 o'clock Eastern time, which happens to be I think it's 7 o'clock Ghana time. It's 8 o'clock Nigerian time. And I apologize, I don't have all the times on in my head, but I'm doing a presentation there, and come and check it out. So what I do is I record myself presenting, and in fact, I'm presenting with Christmas, who is an associate from Ghana, actually a brilliant young man, right? Which I'm mentoring right now. So the point here is to find segments that you can convert, that you can extract, and that can help you convert, which could be part of the giving information, right? And on the reel that you're doing with conversion, it could be a very simple thing, right? For example, you know, uh, this company has impacted my life in ways that um, has completely transformed the way we live today. Um, and then you can simply, I'm trying to think out loud here on what I would say here very quickly. And then from there, ask me how. You know, Tammy and I have helped literally thousands of people going full time. Let me show you how we did it. Right. And there's a lot of other ways. In fact, I have all that written. I have to go back here, but I don't want to get too distracted by start searching for things. But the point here is you got to give people a reason to respond to a comment that you might have shared, that that you're trying to get people to get back to you, right? So the conversion is extremely important, and you want to maintain the flow and the momentum in these activities, in growing and providing information, and of course in getting something out of that. And number four, what's really important. Okay, so again, we started on just 1 second here. I'm just looking at my notes. Sorry, the four main pillars. So the other one is tracking, right? Tracking your social media activities, right? Tracking the good contents. Earlier, I was telling you to start watching some videos and segments that are providing good content, that could be examples of content that you can use. Keep track of those things. So the assignment today is make sure that you're following through on the dare of yesterday, which is grow, give, and get. Again, summarize is you can grow on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You can give, for example, on Sunday and Monday. And you can get on Tuesday, for example. And again, you could play with that. The days I'm giving you are just examples. So the dare really today, it's a bit different, is what are you going to do exactly to generate your next lead? by following the flow. Think about it. What is your strategy? What is your strategy to convert, to be able to get someone you can talk to? Because that's the goal. Why are you doing all these social media things? You don't want to just waste your time and do all of these videos all the time, all day long, and all week long, and all year long. You want to be able to convert. That's why you're doing all of that. And many of you right now, what you're doing is you're growing your audience. You're growing your audience again by providing information that entertains, providing information that educates, and of course, in the same time, to get into a position to start converting, right? And what's the process for you to track your strategy? Okay, so that's it there. What is your strategy to generate your next lead, right? What's your strategy? And number two is, what is your process in tracking your strategy? That's it. So I went in for about 21 minutes here, guys. I hope that was helpful. And again, we like some hearts, we like some thumbs up, we like your feedback. I really appreciate it, guys, when you give me some comments, some feedback, some even suggestions, or your comments, or your results, right? I love to see that. I read them all. And when I read them, I click like. If you do something that brings value, I will put a heart, right? And if you're providing information that encourages me to respond to, then I may put a heart and a comment. Okay? So like I said, guys, again, congratulations for staying the course. We're coming to an end right now. So this is day 79. Remember, it's 90-day run. So we're almost at the end here. And we don't count weekends. So there's not that many sessions left. Okay? Have yourself a great day. Thank you for joining in. And I hope you're going to follow through on those. And not just on today's session, but on all of the 90-day run that's been shared since January 4th. I want to thank Ann Turnbull. I want to thank Dr. James. I want to thank Whatmaster and my wife Tammy for constantly committed to stay the course. And despite sometimes we're very, very busy, we still stay the course in providing you with information from Monday to Friday. Take care, guys. Have a good one.